Hi, this is Heidi again, here at Bluff Lake, another one of our sources of water here in Bluff Lake Nature Center. There's a few good access points to get close to the water. Here's one, but it's kind of steep. You may be able to see behind me the boardwalk, and we also have a bird blind. So Bluff Lake is what this area is named after. In the distance, you can see the neighborhoods behind me. The storm water from those neighborhoods ultimately ends up in this lake. It first goes through an area called that stormwater outfall, which we'll talk about in a separate video, but it ultimately ends up here. There is a muskrat or beaver, which you should film immediately.
Oh, got it. Oh my god.
I think it's a muskrat because its tail is kind of long and rat-like, as opposed to flat, like a tennis racket, which is what a beaver would have. That was so cool. So, unplanned moment, if you're still videoing me, you guys got to see a random appearance by a muskrat. So there's two kind of water creatures that look similar to that we'd see in this lake pretty frequently. One is a muskrat, like I mentioned, it has kind of a long skinny rat tail. They're a little bit smaller. The other animal we've seen here often are beaver. So they have a big flat tail, kind of like a paddle or a tennis racket. More often the beaver would be seen at night. They're a nocturnal animal, meaning that's when they're active. But we have seen them now and then in the daytime. And actually another thing we just found here today, this piece of wood floating in the water, I'll bring it over. This is something that was definitely chewed up by a beaver. You can see a couple of things. First, these sort of serrated areas, you can see their teeth scraped. So it's like they scraped here, 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 here. They pull all that bark off because that's actually their food source. And then they also have these pieces of wood left that they can use to build things like a dam, which blocks off a creek's full flow to help swell it out to create a pond. Because then what they create is a lodge, which is sort of their actual living space. It looks kind of like a big pile of sticks, like in a dome or a teepee, but they get to it from underwater. They have an underwater entrance. The other thing you can see here that tells us a beaver did this is how it's kind of chewed into a point. So you can see that on both ends here, whereas a branch that has just broken would look a lot more jagged and be kind of more flat. So this is something that we often find floating here in Bluff Lake, and we see evidence of it in the trees around the area being cut down. So we kind of trying to find a balance between we love the beaver, but we don't want to cut down all the trees. So sometimes you'll see trees around here that have fencing around the trunk to help protect those trees. Or we had a Girl Scout troop many years ago who painted a mixture of brown paint and sand on the bottom 2 feet of trees because the beavers don't like to chew through that gritty sand material.